everyone, welcome back to another episode of Backstage Spotlight. Today we have with us the social media sensation, Abbie Budden. Hello.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you for joining me. So last night you hosted the red carpet at the What's on Stage Awards. How was that?
I feel like I'm still processing it. Kind of woke up this morning and was like, did I dream last night? It was wild. It was the busiest, most overwhelming. Just I was completely starstruck the whole night. It was amazing though. I mean, like what a night to celebrate UK theatre as well. Um, but yeah, was on the red carpet chatting to nominees, guests. It was
How
an
crazy.
incredible experience.
Yeah. So for those people who aren't familiar with you, do you want to just explain who you are, what you do, and what led to you being on the red carpet?
So I am best known for my TikTok videos. That's kind of where this crazy career started during lockdown. Like a lot of people, I was bored and looking for a creative outlet because obviously theatres had shut down, couldn't be on stage for a long period of time. So I was like, how can I use all this pent up creative energy? And I thought, oh, I'll just hop on TikTok. That's what everyone's doing. I might as well. Um, and then it just created this totally unexpected career path for me. Really, it never started as that. It started as something that um, I enjoyed. It was just fun for me. I've always loved making videos and kind of using my creative side to pump out content, basically. And yeah, so then it kind of turned from sort of a hobby to distract me from college to now what I do for a living, which has then led to making my stage debut this year, and then obviously leading to opportunities like getting to host the red carpet at the What's on Stage Awards, which a few years ago I would have never imagined would be something that I was even capable of doing.
What a whirlwind of a journey. And so you mentioned being at college, like while you started your social media. What was the path you were going down, and what do you think you would have done if social media didn't take over?
Yeah, so I always knew that I wanted to be on stage. That was always the goal. I always knew that that was kind of where I wanted to head. But I didn't go down the kind of stage school route. I was like, I'm gonna go get my A levels. I'm gonna go to sixth form, just see what happens. So yeah, I was just at book standard sixth form doing my A levels, doing TikTok basically full time on top of that. Um, and the goal was always to apply an audition to drama school straight out of college, but then lockdown happened and that just wasn't the right period of time for me to start that journey. So, and as TikTok was blowing up for me, it was something that I really wanted to focus on. And I thought, well, whilst this is all happening, whilst it's also fresh, I might as well grab it with everything that I can. And subsequently it's led me to where I am now. So I'm kind of glad that I did just sort of stay present and not focus too much on where I thought my future might go, because actually in just sticking with what I was doing, it's actually led me to places that I never would have imagined I'd be at this point in my life.
Yeah, it's great. And as a fellow content creator, I'm intrigued to know how you came up with your content and how you kind of managed, because it's not easy. And some people think, oh, I'm going to give TikTok a go. And they're like, why am I not doing well? But it actually has like a lot of behind the scenes work to it. And I just wanted to know like your experience with creating content, and if you had like a schedule, how did you manage that?
So you're so right in that I feel like people don't realize the skill it takes to pump out content. Every day actually, I was posting pretty much every day on top of all my coursework. It was I look back now and I'm like, how was I doing that? Because even now I look back, I'm like, gosh, how did I have so many ideas? But I think I just hit it at a period of time where the app was exploding and everyone just was so creative. It was I think that era of like 2020 to 2021, that era of TikTok was just, I think, the most creative I've ever seen it. But I just posted so randomly at the beginning. I just thought, what do I enjoy and what do I want to do? And the kind of stuff that I started out with isn't actually in any way like the content that I post now. It kind of really went on a journey to see A, what I enjoyed posting, and B, what everyone else on the internet enjoyed seeing from me. It really was a lot of trial and error. Um, but it was kind of really relevant to what I was doing at the time because I was still at college. A lot of my school videos, my theatre videos, the kind of comedy POV style that I was doing was really relevant to actually my day to day life because I was still in education and still experiencing all the things that I make comedy skits about on my page. So it was a really great time to use everything that I was just seeing around me. A lot of my comedy is very observational. So I'll be out in public, or I'll be in a scenario at college, or at a theatre, and I'm observing people and thinking, maybe could I make that into a video? Or I think actually being at home too much doesn't really help me
Yeah.
with making my content at all, because I need to be seeing the world to actually like get any inspiration.
Yeah, and it's hard to think of that initially and think of how you're going to execute it. And the thought that goes behind videos, I feel like people don't appreciate because they don't see it. And that
Well,
can
there's a
be really
whole
hard.
process,
Yeah.
isn't there?
Yeah. And as a
Yeah, I feel like
content
people just
creator,
see the final product.
yeah, exactly. And sometimes people can be like, you're not posting as much, and you've got like you said, you've got like college coursework, like you've got so much going on that sometimes social media has to take a backseat and you can't always get this content out regularly. But I think when people understand that, they start to admire it more and they understand like the work that goes on behind the scenes. And I mean, how did you feel when your TikTok grew and you began seeing like an audience growing? How did you feel?
It was really surreal because, especially because it kind of happened in that lockdown period, it was like just insane numbers on a screen, and I couldn't fathom how many people that actually was. I feel like until you go to a theatre where you know how many seats there are, or a stadium, or you can't process how many people that actually is. It was totally wild, and I never started it with the goal of building such a platform for myself. I just did it because I enjoyed it, which I think sometimes is nicer, because then when you start getting that recognition for something that you do just because you love it, it's almost nicer than kind of that being an expectation.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, but it all happened really quickly actually. Once it all started to grow and explode on the platform, it kind of, within the year, it had basically become like a full-time career basically. So it was like a lot to process at once.
Yeah, it's crazy how it can go from nothing to suddenly this following that you're creating income from, and you're just sat at home and it's just like, okay, how do I manage this in a way that I can maintain it? Because with social media, you don't know, like one day could be there and the next day could just go, and it's a tactical way that you have to keep going at it to it's almost a business
And I think
really, isn't it?
it really is. I think that makes it exciting. It also makes it really terrifying because
Yeah.
one day it's there, the next day, it might not. Like it is, the fact it's so temporary is what makes it so incredible, but also is what makes it such a terrifying place to be, and to start a career off of the back of that. You don't know how the internet is going to evolve and change every day, which, yes, is a really exciting thing, but also, it is a nerve-wracking place to be when you have so many people that almost rely on you for the content that you put out. And yeah, I feel a sense of privilege really to have that platform, and to have the followers that I do. Yeah, it's a crazy platform. And I
Yeah.
think, the way that people can just explode overnight, it is difficult to know actually where to navigate that, because it's not like you prepare to gain however many followers. It's just something that happens. It's not like you can have a degree in it. It's not something that you learn as you go, which I think people do forget sometimes, is that most people that are producing content are just making everything up as they go along, and it's a huge learning curve for them too.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also such a nice support network, I suppose, especially with you recently announcing your stage debut, and we'll get into that, but the support network that you have behind that must be so rewarding.
It really is, and I think social media gets a lot of stick for. I'm not saying that it is always a positive place. There are definitely elements of it that can be tricky to navigate. But I think sometimes people need to remember that there are a lot of lovely, amazing things that come from being on these platforms. The level of support that I've had from from my peers, from my followers, it really is like the platform has really been life changing for me, and I think sometimes people do forget the positivity that can be spread through social media. I think we're very quick to focus on the toxic negative things that are there, but I think I wouldn't want that to ever diminish what a great and supportive place those platforms can actually be.
Yeah, of course. So talk to us about Cruel Intentions and how that opportunity came about.
Yeah, I mean, again, everything has been a complete whirlwind these past few months. I mean, to think that I only did my audition in November is completely wild.
Mind blowing.
It feels like it happened overnight, and maybe it actually did. But in my brain, that's kind of how it feels. But yeah, it's I feel extremely lucky to be making my debut on, I mean, an amazing stage. I mean, the Other Palace, what a theatre. I mean, the iconic Heathers was there for so long, and now we're bringing a new musical to London. Um, but yeah, it was a real whirlwind of a process. And I do thank my platform on TikTok for a lot of that. I do recognise that I probably wouldn't be where I am at this point in my life anyway. Because it's all happened so quickly for me. I do have a lot. I'm very grateful for the platform that I had to give me that boost to get there, and to kind of be recognised. Um, but yeah, it was an extremely fast audition process. I think within 1 or 2 weeks, my
Wow.
whole life had changed.
Yeah.
So it was a lot to process, and it was the most exciting thing, but also completely terrifying. It's nothing prepares you for how that's gonna feel.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, everything was just completely flipped over within the space of a month.
Yeah, it's great. And do you want to tell us a bit about Cruel Intentions and about the role you play in the show?
Yes. So for anyone that doesn't know, if you don't know, get to know. Um, Intentions is an iconic 90s film. It's got Selma Blair, it's got Reese Witherspoon, it's got Sarah Michelle Gellar, it's got Ryan Felipe. Like the cast is stacked in that film. It's so great. Like the film, I just recommend the film in itself. I mean, obviously, come and see our show, but the film itself is so iconic. So to get to bring those roles to life on stage. So I'm playing Annette Hargrove, which is the role that Reese Witherspoon played in the film, which I kind of feel like I manifested because the day before I got the audition through, I posted a video doing an impression of Reese Witherspoon. It later gone
Oh.
separate, but still Reese. And I'm like, I feel like a part of me really manifest. I had no idea that audition was coming through at all. And then the next day it was like, you're in for Reese. And I was like, part of me has manifested this. I don't know how much I believe about like manifestation, but
Mm.
that I manifested.
Yeah,
Um
that's like a
but yeah,
coincidence.
it really was. Yeah, it was like it was just meant to be.
Yeah.
Um as I say, I'm playing Annette Hargrove, who is kind of Sebastian's love interest. She gets tied up in the kind of wicked ways of Catherine and Sebastian. She's kind of the bet. It's just such a fun show. It's an absolute party. It's a jukebox musical, so we have 90s banger after banger, and I mean, you only have to look at the audience reaction to see how well those songs go down. But what I love about it is the songs feel like they were written for the show. They fit so well, which I think is what makes it so great, and it's very tongue in cheek as well. We don't take ourselves seriously in any way, so we're having like a really serious moment, and then we break into Torn, an iconic song by Natalie Imbruglia. So we kind of know what we are, um, But yeah, it's a great show. It's at the Other Palace until May 19th. Come and see us.
Go see it, go see it,
But
everybody.
it's a lot of fun, and it's a lot of fun to be a part of as well. I think you can really tell when you see a show when the cast are really enjoying themselves on stage, and we really do. Every show we just have an absolute blast. It's
Oh, that's
Yeah,
so
I feel
nice.
very lucky.
Yeah, that's really, really nice. So what's on Stage Awards last night? Talk to us about like the people you met and just brain splurge on us.
It was, I mean, what a night. It was, I've never interviewed before in my life.
Yeah, how
So
was that?
I was already pushing out of my comfort zone. I mean, this year kind of my kind of New Year's resolution. I never really make New Year's resolutions because you can never keep them. But like my vague resolution this year was push out of my comfort zone and just go into everything headfirst in the deep end.
Yeah.
And that's kind of already within 6 weeks of this year. I've done. I've made my debut at the Other Palace and just been on the red carpet at the What's on Stage Awards. But it was amazing. I met some awesome people: James Norton, Luke Thompson, Amy Lou Wood, Mason Alexander Park, Faye Tozer, Marisha Wallace. It's like, yeah, I'm just casually talking to all these people. Yeah, they're my mates now. I'm definitely not fangirling really, really hard. I'm trying to keep my cool. Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, like Bonnie Langford and Melanie Barry hosted the awards. They were hilarious. Nicole Scherzinger was there.
Madness.
Um, gave a beautiful speech. She won an award. Um, it was a great show. There were some awesome performances as well. And now I'm like, God, how many more shows can I go and see this year? Like, I'm desperate to see a lot of the nominated shows.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it was a real special evening. I felt very lucky to be a part of it. Yeah, I was very grateful for the opportunity to just get to chat to some really inspirational and really cool people.
Yeah. What a great
Yeah, it was an
opportunity.
awesome night.
And something to remember.
Yeah, yeah, I feel like this year has started with like some real milestones already. Yeah, I felt last night on the train home. I felt like I was getting a bit emotional about it all because I just can't believe the person that I'm growing into with all these opportunities. I kind of look back on myself from a few years ago and I go, God, I don't think I'd have ever had the courage to actually just get up and try these new things and actually just take on these experiences. I think all too often I've really shied away and gone, no, 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 it's too out of my comfort zone. Um, but it's unbelievable how rewarding just grabbing every opportunity has really felt this year. Yeah, I do feel incredibly lucky.
Yeah, it's important you say that because talking to people who have gone through college and giving advice to people going through college, that is really the mental attitude you need to have, taking all those opportunities because you will learn more from making mistakes, but doing it instead of shying
Yeah,
away and being too nervous. And don't get me wrong, like it's okay to feel like that too. But if you want something and want to push yourself and want to excel, it's so important to push yourself out of that comfort zone and get as many opportunities. Just saying yes to everything, and I'm sure you can vouch for it. It's you just meet more people, you get to have new experiences, and you learn on the job basically.
really, you really do. I feel like I spent a lot of time teaching myself how to say no to things because I was one of those kids that was like, yeah, I'll do that, yeah, I'll do that, and then had to learn like actually just say no to things that you don't want to do. And then now this year I'm like, okay, now I'm teaching myself to say yes to things that I do want to do but I feel are out of my comfort zone or I'm too scared to do. But yeah, like you say, learning on the job is incredibly valuable, and especially for me, I have gone about all of this, a slightly more unconventional route. I didn't get a chance to go and train. My plan was go to drama school, get my training, but the way that this whole year has exploded into my life, I really do feel like the skills that I'm picking up by just taking all of these opportunities head on are really valuable for me growing as an artist, growing as a person. Um, and one of my friends actually said to me yesterday, made a really good point about your body can't tell the difference between nerves and excitement. So just
Yeah.
channel that feeling. It really is. It kind of is what like the actual like science of it all is kind of mad. Um, but I think that is just really great advice. Like, just channel that fear and those nerves into everything that you do. Like, it's natural to feel like that. You're gonna feel scared about things, but I think it's just about how you navigate that.
Mm,
And also, like, confidence isn't something that you can just learn by not doing things. Like, no one is born confident. Like, you have to face fear and do it anyway to build that in yourself.
yeah. What you're saying is really inspirational to even people who don't think drama school is accessible to them, because you're showing them that you don't have to go down that route to be successful in this industry, and people might not be able to afford it or just might not have the means to go through that route. But most people have social media at their fingertips, and it's always something in whatever industry that may be. It's just such a good way to sell yourself and put yourself out there. And if you don't do it, you'll never you'll never know what it could lead to.
Yeah, exactly. I guess it kind of is what works for you as an individual as well. Drama school offers such valuable training. It's why so many people go. The training is valuable, but it's not necessary. And I think it's definitely, you need to understand who you are as a person and the way in which you learn. And if that is going to drama school, then amazing. But if that is learning through, like, just through jumping straight into, any opportunity you can grab, um, I definitely do think that the industry is moving and changing, and um, people's access into the industry is definitely there's definitely like a wider scope on that, which I think is really great. Like you say, drama school might not be accessible to everyone for many different reasons. So I think it's really great that the platforms of social media, and various other things are really helping people actually, follow their dreams, basically.
Yeah, it's true. And also things like the recent Mamma Mia, I Have a Dream program. There's so many
Yes.
different avenues nowadays that you can go down, and it doesn't necessarily have to be college.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think a lot of people um, don't always recognize TikTok and social media as having that kind of impact, but it really does. And I feel like even a lot of casting directors and producers are really starting to recognize actually how beneficial social media now is in the theatre industry, which I think is a really amazing thing. Not only in a way of marketing shows, but in a way of casting shows too. I think there's so much talent out there that is, goes, unrecognized, and I think it's lovely that um, people are starting to respect um, creatives online a lot more now.
Yeah, it really is great. And so talking about your future might seem scary to you, but either where would you see yourself in 5 years, or what is your dream role or job?
Gosh, it's really difficult because if you'd asked me that 5 years ago, I would never have imagined that I'd be where I am now. Um, and I have a big thing at the moment of like really just focusing on the present. I spent so long going, oh, what am I doing next year? Or how am I going to get to this place? Or where am I going to be in
Yeah.
10 years time? And oh gosh, how am I going to work towards that? And I spent so long doing that I wasn't actually appreciating what was happening in the moment. And since just being in the moment and since just thinking what is making me happy right now, that is actually how I've managed to grow as a person even more than just trying to think like, how am I going to reach my goals? But that being said, it's always great to have goals,
Yeah.
and envisage what my future could look like. I mean, gosh, I want to conquer everything. I'm kind of in a mood at the moment where I'm like, the world is my oyster, and it's kind of cringy, but I feel like you have to dream big. There's
Of
no point in
course.
finish yourself. But I mean, after last night, I'd love to do some more presenting.
Yeah.
It's always been something that I've really admired, and I've always thought that I'd love to give it a go. And it was my first time last night, so I'd really love to explore that more. Um, I'd obviously love to continue my career on the stage. I'd love to see what happens after Cruel Intentions. I'd love to have a run, a long run in the West End. I don't even really know what my dream roles are. Since you asked that, I was like, gosh, I actually don't even think I could tell you.
Yeah, there's
Um,
just so much out there.
there honestly is. I feel like, I mean, it's so lovely, and there are so many new original musicals that are popping about. So I feel like there may be a role that like I'm not even aware of yet that could be in my future. Like it's really lovely. I feel like theatre is just expanding more and more. Like we have no idea what theatre in the next 5, 10 years is going to look like. It's really exciting
It really is. What would be your top three musicals to watch this year?
to watch. Oh my goodness, I feel like there's more than three at this point.
Go for it.
Um, oh goodness. Well, after last night, I feel like I really want to try and catch Operation Mincemeat
Mm,
because it's had mega mega reviews. It's extended like 8 times now. Maybe don't quote me on that, but I want to know what the hype is about. I have no idea what it's about, what is involved in the show,
yeah.
but all I know is that it's exploded, and I love that it's a really original show, and Split Lip, the theatre company that have produced it. They've come from like having their show at like the tiniest venues, going to the Fringe. So I think it's nice that a show like that has had such a journey. I
Yeah,
really want to try and catch Guys and Dolls at the Bridge.
that's
I haven't
brilliant.
seen it yet. Yeah, and that led a lot of the nominations at the What's on Stage
Mm.
awards last night. So I'm like, okay, I need to try and catch that at some point because
Yeah, that is cool.
again, I love that shows that have been around for years and years are being revived in such a unique way. I mean, it's so much
Yes,
fun, and I think it gives old shows a new life as well. Like shows that people have known for so many years and go, oh, Guys and Dolls, been there, done that.
like
To then
Oklahoma.
create, yes, like Oklahoma, like to create like immersive, creative, like new versions of these shows. I'm really enjoying. There's actually been a lot of insane revivals. I mean, Sunset Boulevard being one of them. I have been lucky enough to see
I
that.
didn't get to see it, and I'm so annoyed about it.
Honestly, I mean, fly to Broadway.
Oh,
It's
I
worth the
would.
plane. It's worth it. It's worth every penny.
I like
Um,
went on. I
yeah,
went on the ticket website, and it was like £300 a ticket. I was like, what? I was like,
yeah.
this is
The
crazy.
Nicole Scherzinger prices were through the roof. Um, but yeah, that was an immense show. What else do I want to see? Oh, I really want to see Hadestown. I
Yeah,
actually saw that, and it's one of my favorite shows I've ever seen. And I want to see how they do it on the West End. I mean, and
yeah,
what a cast as well. Like from what I've heard already, I mean, they literally opened on Saturday night.
yeah.
But from what I've already heard, that is going to be a real phenomenal show. Gosh, there's so much I want to say. Oh, I Mean Girls as well.
Yes, that's
I'm
coming.
so excited for that to come to the West End. That was like a big era for me in like 2017, 2018 maybe. It was like It was like my Mean Girls and Beetlejuice era, like when they were huge on Broadway. It was like
Yeah.
all I listened to for ages. So now if Beetlejuice could just come to the UK, like I can complete that era of my life. Like I just need to see both of them, and then
That surely that will come soon.
I don't know. I feel like it's been rumored for ages.
Yeah, I've heard that, but it's such a good musical, and it has like a British, like a huge British fan base. I think they should just come over.
Such an iconic film as well, and like the scale of that show is completely mega. Gosh,
Mm,
what else is even opening this year? I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of shows that were nominated last night that are still running that I need to go and see.
yeah, there's
Um,
so many new musicals like in workshops and like
yeah,
doing premieres and stuff like coming, and
yeah.
it's
Well, it's like Two Strangers Carry a Cake Across New York. That was just playing. Is it the Kiln Theatre? Kin Theatre?
yeah,
Don't
yeah,
quote.
yeah,
I might be wrong. And it's now having a West End transfer, and it's so nice to see really unique new shows being given a life in the West
yeah.
End.
I think these next few years for the West End will be a huge transitioning period for theatre. I feel like
Yeah,
it's really changing.
definitely. I feel like there are so many shows that have had real long runs in the West End, that have kind of been like the titans of the West End for a long time, and I feel like we're starting to weave into actually changing that and seeing some new shows or some really unique revivals of stuff that people are used to. I mean, like I've heard rumors of them in the US doing immersive Phantom of the Opera from the team.
Wow.
I mean, I could be completely wrong, but it's just a rumor. But like,
Yeah.
these are the kind of things that we want to see, like taking shows that everyone feels like they know, have seen, and like know what to expect, and like completely just reimagining them. I think it's so much fun.
Yeah. This is a good question. If you could reimagine a musical, what would it be and how would you do it?
Oh my gosh, what would I even? Well, now I've got to think of shows that have been around for a long time. But I'm loving the immersive stuff at the moment.
Yeah, that is very good.
I think you could do it. I think you could do a massive immersive Les Mis.
Yeah,
Like
surely.
I'm
In the
really.
round or
Are you
something.
yeah, or even like, so are you familiar with Punch Drunk, the theatre company?
No.
So they transform warehouses into
Oh,
these complete immersive spaces, and you go around wearing a mask, and you walk into all these different rooms, and you experience the story for yourself. Like the
so
space is free
good.
range. There are different things happening in each room, and I'm like, I want to see that, but with like West End shows that we know and love. Do you know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
like, put the Lion King in like a Punch Drunk space. Like, I want to walk around and see the ad. Like, do you know what I mean? I
Yeah,
feel
that
like
would be so cool.
I'm really like I love what Guys and Dolls have done
Mm.
with their revival of that,
Are
and
you going to go and watch
you know,
that as an immersive audience member or on the seated?
I think I'm gonna have to do standing.
Yeah,
Do you
I
know
feel like
what?
it's something you have to
Standing
do.
is difficult. Yeah, I went to the Globe and I stood.
Yeah.
And it was, I'm glad I did, because I feel like the experience of that is to stand. But my God, did my legs hurt afterwards. It was worth it. But yeah, so part of me is like, I really want to stand, because everything I've heard about Guys and Dolls is like, if you're stood, you're completely immersed in it. You know, the audience
Yeah.
have moved around, and you're like right up with the actors. But also, I'm like, my poor little legs, can they cope? Not
Mm.
sure.
The fact that you do move around a lot does help because I thought the exact same. And in Act Two, I was a bit like, "Ooh, like I could do with a little squat right now." But saying that, like
Like a
moving around is good. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that is good. But with the globe, you are
Oh
stood
yeah.
for.
The globe is, yeah, that is torturous standing. That's like olden
I
times
feel
standing.
I feel like that's a bucket list thing though. I feel like
For sure.
if you enjoy Shakespeare, go to the Globe and stand once. The rest of the time, book yourself a nice seat. You've done it. You've stood. Like, save your legs.
Yeah, no, it has to be done. It really has to be done. Um, so one last question. If you were to nominate someone in the performance industry to come on this podcast and I'll reach out to them to come on, who would it be?
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna say, based off of the the similarities that we've had um, in our careers taking off, I'm going to say Hannah Lauber. She
Yes.
is an absolute gem. I love that girl. I owe so much to her as well. She genuinely is just one of the nicest people and cares a lot about everyone around her. But yeah, she's had a very similar pathway into, social media, into theatre and navigating that. So get her on. Hannah, come on
Yeah.
the
And
podcast.
allow the girl, get on. Oh,
I'll
well,
come
it's
back.
been great. Yes, yes,
No,
definitely.
thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. It was such a pleasure to chat to you.
Thank you. And everyone listening, make sure you catch Cruel Intentions. Go see Abbie.
Yes, at the other palace, booking till May 19th. Come and see us. It's a blast. It's a party. You'll love it.
Great. I need to get myself down there too.
Yes, you do.
I will. I will. Everyone listening, make sure you give the pod a 5-star review, stream on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Thank you, Abbie.
Thank you.